Assalamu alaikum. This lab is about pulse width modulation or PWM, which is a utility that is used for controlling the speed of motors usually, but it can also be used for dimming or brightening of lights and LEDs. So how this actually works is the concept behind PWM is that instead of changing the value of the voltage, we change the time for which the voltage is applied. Normally when we are controlling the speed of the motor using a potentiometer, we are changing its voltage. The applied voltage is changed, using which the speed of the motor is controlled. But in the pulse width modulation, we change the on time of the pin to which the motor is connected. So in this lab, the first task that we have to perform is controlling the LED and changing its brightness using the pulse width modulation. So we again have to use the timer counter modules provided in the microcontrollers, and for that I have used the PWM pins are also specific, like the ADCs, interrupts, and timer external timer pins. The pins that I have used, the pin that I have used is the OCR-OB pin, on which I will be applying the PWM. OCR-OB basically is a register that compares its value to the TCNT, and we have seen its use in the CTC mode. First, the pin 5 of the G port is declared as an output, and the setting of the timer 0 module is set so that it begins functioning as in the fast PWM mode. The value of TCCR-OB is set as with no prescaler, and in this loop the value of OCR-OB goes from 0 up till 256, which is its maximum value, 255 actually, and each value comes after a delay of 100 milliseconds. For some reason this code doesn't actually work on the simulation, so only the hardware part of this code will be shown. Same is the case with the motors, which is the next task. So in this next task, we have to control the speed of the motors, but we have to use 5 different buttons, and for the 5 different buttons there will be different value of OCR-OB, and that OCR-OB value will basically define at what speed the motors are going to be rotating. So we have used the same OCR-OB register, OCR-OB pin, and the port C is declared as an input, which will be connected to the buttons on the breadboard, and the mode that it is set in is the normal mode, and it is the inverted PWM mode. Basically it is another mode in the fast PWM mode, and there is no prescaling, and there are 5 buttons. Each button has a defined OCR-OB value, and when the first button is pressed, the OCR-OB value is 0, which actually means that the motor will be off, and at the second button the OCR-OB value will be 140. At the third button the OCR-OB value will be 180. At the fourth button the OCR-OB value will be 210, and at the final button the OCR-OB will be 255, which will be the maximum value at which a motor can rotate, or which this is the maximum value a register can store in it. So this task again will be shown only on the hardware, as it is not working on the simulation.
सर ये 5 बटन्स लगे हैं और हर बटन को डिफरेंट OCR की वैल्यू असाइंड है, और ये नीचे मोटर है, और ये हमें बटन जो फर्स्ट बटन है उसको 0 वैल्यू असाइंड है, इस वजह से वो मोटर जो है वो इस टाइम बंद है। सेकंड दबाने से मोटर किसी स्पीड से चल रही है जो कि स्लो स्पीड है। उससे नेक्स्ट बटन दबाता हूँ, मोटर की स्पीड तेज़ हो गई। उससे नेक्स्ट बटन दबाने पर और तेज़ हो गई। और लास्ट बटन को मैंने 255 असाइन की है, जिससे वो मोटर फुल स्पीड से घूम रही है।